দশক বিশ্ব কন্যা শিশু দিবস উপলক্ষে দ্য নেদারল্যান্ডস এম্বাসির সহায়তায় রোল অফ মিডিয়া ইন প্রিভেন্টিং চাইল্ড ম্যারেজ অ্যান্ড চেঞ্জিং দ্য লাইফ অফ আর্লি ম্যারিড গার্লস শীর্ষক আরটিভির বিশেষ আলোচনা অনুষ্ঠানে স্বাগত জানাচ্ছি আমি সৈয়দ আশিক রহমান। আজ আলোচনার জন্য আমাদের সঙ্গে উপস্থিত রয়েছেন বাংলাদেশের নেদারল্যান্ডসের রাষ্ট্রদূত হিজ এক্সেলেন্সি হেরি ভারওয়েজ, ট্রেডার্স হোমস নেদারল্যান্ডসের কান্ট্রি ডিরেক্টর মিস্টার মাহমুদুল কবির, মানবাধিকার কর্মী এবং সংসদ সদস্য আরোমা দত্ত এবং রেড অরেঞ্জ মিডিয়া অ্যান্ড কমিউনিকেশনসের ডিরেক্টর অফ প্রোগ্রামস অ্যান্ড অপারেশনস মিস্টার ইমরুল হাসান খান। Very welcome everyone. Mr. Mahmudul Kabir, how is Image Plus working to overcome the barriers for the empowerment of the early married girls?
Image Plus has been focusing mainly on the girls, those who are married as a child. So we have been implementing Image Plus project with the support of the Netherlands Embassy. As you know that child marriage has been is one of the biggest problems in Bangladesh, and most work from all corners are being focused more on the prevention. But the early married girls, those who are already married, they are actually forgotten, they are invisible. I mean, no one thinks about it. So this is the first project we started, Image, thinking that about 3.2 million girls are married. They are in trouble. We have to do something about this. So this is how we started this project, because these children, those who are children, and they are already at risk by giving birth to children, another child. So that's how our program has been focusing primarily on the risk of the pregnancy.
So what are the challenges and the success areas?
Challenges are actually that the teenage pregnancies is one of the main contributors for the maternal mortality rate. So that's why we focus more on preventing the delayed pregnancy, because they get a social pressure to get pregnant immediately after marriage. But then we have been successful in achieving this, because we made them understood that okay, this is very risky for a child to give birth to a child. On the other hand, we have been successful in giving education to the family members, the mothers-in-law, the husbands, and other stakeholders that okay, this is important, that they are at risk, they should be supported. And those who are already pregnant, they have been given a lot of cares, like during pregnancy and after antenatal care, postnatal care. We have got supports. We could make the families understand that this is important, that they get support. And we've also got a lot of support from the local government administration, the Upajala health complexes. So it's a matter of awareness, make them understand that this is very important, because normally, in our society, this is a matter of the problem lies with our social norms, actually, because many of the parents do not understand the risk of the child marriage, because the early pregnancies and the future is dark for a child who was supposed to go to school. Now she's having a big responsibility in the family.
Ms. Aroma Datta, a large number of children are already married at an very early age. How is Bangladesh government contributing to ending this child marriage?
Thank you so much. First of all, this is a very pertinent issue and a burning issue for all of us. But I would like to mention, under the charismatic leadership of our Prime Minister, Sheikh Hasina, many laws and policies have been adopted and programs have been developed to actually manage and stop early marriages by the Ministry of Women Affairs and Children Affairs and other related government organs, including large number of development partners. And here I would also like to mention and give a big hand to the media for doing advocacy at the grassroots level and make people aware, particularly to the parents, that your daughter is also an asset and valuable to your family. She isn't the income unit like the boys. So you must invest your daughter in education and also in other kind of skills development. Bangladesh government has adopted large number of laws, which I'm sure I would like to read out, because this is very important in the sense that for child rights policy, there's National Children Policy 2011, Children's Laws 2013, Early Childhood Care and Development Policy 2013, Child Marriage Restraint Act. This is very, very important, recent, which has been further adopted in 2017, Domestic Violence Prevention and Protection Act 2010, Rights and Protection of Persons with Disabilities Act of 2013, Prevention and Suppression of Human Trafficking, this is another sector, Act 2012, Domestic Workers Protection, Welfare Policy 2015, Pornography Control Act 2012. So we have all these instruments, and these instruments have been quite a strong, I would say, weapon for protecting. But the issue remains with the civil society organization and government to work hand to hand. These messages actually reaches to those people who are not aware of the strength they have for protecting their daughters.
I want to come back to you later. Mr. Bharis, the Netherlands government is considered as one of the longest and most important development partner of Bangladesh.
Secondly, this issue can never be overstated, the importance of it. It is extremely important. And if you ask me what is the message to Bangladesh at this moment, is you're an economic power. You're the new you're the Asian tiger. And with this also belongs the fact that women should now be assets, as Madam Datta is saying, assets in the economy. And if you want to avoid that women drop out of school, girls drop out of school, girls do not have any independent livelihood opportunities, the economy will not benefit from it. So if you look from that perspective, and if you look from a family perspective, women that can actually contribute to society in a much more intricate manner than they do now will actually support their families and will help the economy grow further. So integrate women, be inclusive with women, and make sure that they can actually develop their skills, their intellectual capacities, and be a good mother and be a good family member at the same time. So in that case, I would also say, please, family members of girls, fathers-in-law, mothers-in-law, mothers, fathers, sisters, siblings, family members, please understand this. It will help you and it will support your family.
Well, thank you. Mr. Imrul Hasan Khan, how does communication ensure that a media message reaching the early married girls and families?
Thankfully, I am talking after three very knowledgeable persons here. And as Aroma Datta has said, that the instrumentally government is now very well prepared to fight against child marriage and also support the early married girls. And here our work starts. We work in an approach which is we call 360 degree. So starting from knowledge development, then to influence into attitude change, and also change in the practice level. So we call it KAP, CAP. So this is the process of doing it. However, it's very difficult to change the practice level. We have to start from the knowledge level, and for that we have to generate some contents and information for the common people and also for the strategic level people who are policymakers like Aroma Datta, and also the implementers like the government officials. So we work at the national level targeting the policy people. At the same time, we also do some mass level campaign at the national level for the community people or the people in the country. And at the same time, in this specific project in Image Plus, we have done some community level interventions also to see how it works. So in the community, we have engaged, as Kabir bhai said, the local government, community people, stakeholders, also the government officials, also lawmakers, everyone. And we have found that the lost human being in the society, the early married girls, they always remain at the back corner of the households, and from there it's very difficult to bring them out and also create access for them to services, to family planning, to delay the early pregnancy, also for providing some technical knowledges. So what we do, we work with each of the stakeholders level. And we're expecting that this project, as it is going to be phased out at one point, with this experience, we'll be also replicating it in the wider areas of.
Well, Mr. Mahmud Kabir, who are the main or important stakeholders?
As I said before, because this is rooted in our social norms. So in our approach, we have made a problem analysis during designing the program. It starts from our society, actually, the families. Many of the parents do not really know the negative impacts on child marriages. So the stakeholders, that's why we have included the family members, particularly the husbands, the mothers-in-law, the family members, even the parents of the girls, those who are the community leaders and CSOs, and even the medias and all, because they all have to really, I mean, this is one area from the society, but at the same time, government is also an important stakeholder. The government has actually approved amended the Child Marriage Restraint Act, and the government is also very active. From the Prime Minister's office, they are regularly monitoring. We work very closely with the local administration. We work in 3 districts, in Gaibandha, Kurigram and Nilphamari, and we have seen how cooperative they are, and we have seen how active they are, because
especially on the North Bengal.
In the North Bengal. So we work for two areas. One is in the prevention of child marriage. We have seen some of even from our project, the early married girls, the change makers, those who are partly early married girls, partly volunteers, they come up. I mean, since we are working together with the local administration, it's for the prevention of the child marriage, and at the same time, we also have a better access for the services by the health, by the youth department for the employment generation, and so this is a kind of we have been doing a holistic approach. We have to engage all the stakeholders, otherwise it's not possible only for the government. It has to changing the behavior of all the social norms is not really, we can't do it overnight, but it's when we are, one message I have to really give you, that when our early married girls are giving the message, the difficulties they have gone through their lives, when they are speaking in the society, the mothers-in-law and the society, people are taking it seriously, that we should not let our child to get married.
I appreciate Mr. Mahmud Kabir. Well, Ambassador Verweij, what are the current support by the Netherlands Embassy on gender equality and empowerment of women and girls?
Well, thank you. We have various programs that we support with various development partners and with the government of Bangladesh. This is not a standalone effort of the Netherlands, but we are, I would always say, like a trailblazer in this issue. I think I can give you one example, for instance, and that is a program that's called Balika. And Balika works, it's an assessment as to how you can avoid or prevent early child and early girl marriage. And one of the things that we've learned from that assessment is that women or girls who have actually gone to school and have learned math and English, move on to the next stage of their education. And when parents and the in-laws see that this is actually working, they actually allow women to go to further education, which makes them more independent eventually. The other thing is training them for livelihoods. So if you train someone who comes from a farm and wants to do, let's say, work with livestock, if you train them how to do so, they can actually be an entrepreneur. And they, on a low scale and a small scale, do so. And I've seen a few examples of those in Khulna and elsewhere in Bangladesh, where, for instance, in shrimp farming or 3-4 cows, women learned how to be a part of an economic system, and the families see that they actually support their families and they make progress. So this also makes progress. And there's another thing that I've seen personally that I found extremely interesting, that it's not only they work for their own families, they work for their community. And these women work together, and all of a sudden there are 60 women with a few cows, and they all start producing milk and make cheese. And add to the income of the family, which is quite interesting. And in one instance, I was actually told, you know, I earn.
Well, Excellency, we'll talk more on different issues, or more issues after a short break.
Good.
দর্শক দেখছেন বিশ্বকন্যা শিশু দিবস উপলক্ষে আরটিভির বিশেষ অনুষ্ঠান। এ পর্যায়ে নিচ্ছি বিরতি, ফিরছি কিছুক্ষণের মধ্যেই, আমাদের সাথেই থাকুন। দর্শক আবারও আমন্ত্রণ বিশ্বকন্যা শিশু দিবস উপলক্ষে দ্য নেদারল্যান্ডস এম্বাসির সহায়তায় আরটিভির বিশেষ অনুষ্ঠানে। Welcome again, you all. Mr. Imrul Hasan Khan, what do you think? Is the media coverage early marriage girls and their issues, it is enough?
Being a media person, you can also tell that very easily that it's not. How much of the media coverage have we seen in the meantime in our life
Well,
regarding the early married girls?
well,
Have you seen any? No, we don't see them ever, mostly ever. Since this project's been started, the most forgotten member of the society.
Honorable Prime Minister given the best effort and there is success also.
That is about prevention of the girl child's marriage.
Well,
But it's about early married girls' life.
well,
How they're doing in their married life, and also what they're doing in their married life, and what they're suffering from. As you can see that when they're married, an adolescent girl is married, and she is entirely forgotten, and there all the opportunities of education is cut off. All the like access to services like technical training or capacity development or income generation activities, or even for their sexual and reproductive life after marriage, what
Well,
the support they need.
where is the failure? Why you fail or media is not giving enough coverage, you are telling?
Because this was not discussed. This issue was not discussed much.
These issues were not discussed
much. And it was not an issue. We say that if the parent of the early married girls, do they care about what their married girls are doing at their home, in-laws' home? The school, if they once a girl is been married, they don't have good access to the schools, and some of the times we have heard that even the teachers think that they will spoil the unmarried girls at the school. And at the same time, when we talk about all their potentials to become an economic person in the society, a bread earner maybe for their households, but they don't get any of those opportunities.
So you think
they're entirely cut off.
We have to change our view. Before our break, you were talking about the stories of changes. Do you want to add about this topic?
We, in this project, Image Plus project, with support from Netherlands Embassy, we have tried to work with the early married girls in ensuring that all these situations I have been talking about the access of services, income generation, education, etc., how to get them connected with this, and despite of all those challenges still existing in the society. And we have found that things work if there's proper sensitization and support, and if they're reached by the society and the system, the government itself. So we have created more than 100 success stories and documented them, and also like a video documented 10 stories, and where the girls who were early married now have access to education due to the project, have access to the income generation. Now they're very much independent, and we share those success stories, changing their names so that their family don't get hurt or other things. And this is very inspiring for the other girls who are already been married. So these we telecasted in the TV and also radio, social media as appropriate, as an approach that I call 360 degree. So that's how we are trying to celebrate the successes of it.
Miss Aroma Datta.
Bangladesh has been very successful in the sense. Bangladesh has, I have to mention that Bangladesh in all unions, upazilas, they have community health center.
Community level.
Community health centers.
Community health centers.
And this has become very, very, I would say, instrumental for the people of that rural areas to go and have access for having health vaccine and also on the population, control system, because population control system is quite popular in Bangladesh, and community health centers are instrumental in providing very good services at that level.
Clinics.
Community clinics, and particularly regarding health, things have changed, the situation have changed, and today there is not a single person who does not have a square meal.
Especially reproductive.
Of course, even in the areas of the chores in Gaibandha, where the image is working, because I have worked there very intensively. In the chores of Gaibandha, there are now like economic zones. They are the best producers for milk, vegetables, and many other items which are being internally used and also being taken to international level. They have international marketing access.
Great.
So, yes, and the other issue which I have to mention, that hats off to our Honorable Prime Minister for her super education policy. And today you can see the rate of declining of girls' marriage because of that education policy, where they have free education for girls and boys and more for the girls, so that this is something which actually stops them from getting into early marriage, because the parents now are considering, as you have been asking, Mr. Imrul, that the parents are now changing their mindset.
Well,
And they now are considering that the daughter is also an asset to her family, and the daughter should not be married off because they want to see or experience. Even more kind of support is coming to the schools, so that there is less of a dropout. You have now, the government, Prime Minister have introduced midday meal.
talking about it, that midday meal will help.
Exactly,
about the
nutrition,
yes.
the nutritional value, dropouts, and also this is going to give them a clear
Some interest to come the
and
school.
to continue and
Yes.
continue and to stop the drop.
It's a big tool, and I believe that it brings more success.
More
in future.
success, and also it is influencing. It has such an influencing factor. And then the other, parents, they consider that if their daughter is in this stage and being empowered, because every daughter
Well.
is a symbol of empowerment. Every daughter is considered now as a symbol of empowerment, because they are our future leaders.
Exactly.
And so that influences them to provide support. And there are a number of success stories I know, that violence against women and then early marriage has been stopped by the girls and by the mothers.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mahmudul Kabir. You have experience in the field level.
I remember our senior generations, including Bibi, and those who have participated in from the government, from the CSOs. 30,000 the participants were there, and that was to establish the human rights of the women and girls. And after 25 years, we have seen a great success. I would say a lot of achievements all over the world, and including Bangladesh. The good example, I can say that first I would like to start with our Prime Minister. The country is led by a female Prime Minister. What more you can say? I can talk about Aroma Didi. She was one of the activists as a CSO representative. Now she is now representing the CSOs as a member of the parliament. Besides, in BGMEA and a lot of other areas, our girls and women are really rocking, I would say. I would mention that because behind the economic growth of our countries, what we call about this, the private sector, and where the RMGs, majority of the workers in the RMG sectors are women. So, if you think about the growth of the economic growth of the country, who are actually contributing? It's our women.
Women.
That's of course, but child marriage is a big challenge. The government has also committed It's as I said, it's not only by making laws and acts you can't really reach everything. These are very much rooted in the social norms. We need to work together. It has to be so on this, particularly on this IDG, I would say child marriage we have to all deal with together. Thank you.
Well, Mr. Ambassador Verweij, on this International Girls Marriage Day, on this International Girl Child Day, what is your recommendation?
Well, I have 3 words.
Well,
Invest, include, and integrate.
invest, include, integrate.
So I would say invest in
3
women.
I.
Invest in 3 I's. So
3 I's.
everything comes in 3.
Yes.
Invest in women,
Your
include their families, and integrate women in your economic growth.
Right.
That will be beneficial to Bangladesh, because as much as all of you correctly celebrate success, we should not forget that there's still a lot of work to be done. And I think we all agree on that, and especially my senior colleagues here on this subject. And I think if you look at it worldwide, Bangladesh is still too high in the list of early child marriage. It's 4th worldwide, do not forget this. And it should drop on that list quickly. And I think all the things that have been put in motion are going in the right direction, but it needs a continuous push from all of you, from the government, and from all who help support it. Let me give you an example. Recently, Queen Maxima, the Queen of the Netherlands, is the Secretary General's special advocate on financial inclusion. So there's a UN position. And she met with the Honorable Prime Minister, and they both agreed that there is a lot of progress to be made on that score to ensure that women can be independently access credit, access savings, and have access to health services and all kinds of other services. So these things, notwithstanding the fact that almost all of Bangladeshi have a mobile phone and have their smartphones, still not all women have independently access to these services. So I hope that all of you will continue to work on this, and you will find my Queen supporting you from her New York office, and I will be her agent here to help you on this. So I hope that you will pick this up and make further progress on this. So this is my message.
Thank you. We are almost end of this program. It's Aroma Datta. Any final thought you want to share with our viewers about this role of media in preventing child marriage and changing the life?
Fully agree that media has a tremendous role and has an influence at the grassroots, from national level to the grassroots level. And I would like to suggest that the media, the local medias should have more interaction, should be more proactive in the schools, in the primary schools and in the high schools, and to monitor. I think this is a very important issue, because there are no datas, there are no kind of follow-up like the media can, and because media is so powerful and it can bring the community together, because people have tremendous trust on the media. So I think that is one very important thing, that media has a big role. But I would like to mention here, just before we conclude, first of all, we need to actually have more coordination between the government and the civil society and the development partners, because there are gaps and there is no such coordination, and then there should be more coordination. That's very important at this stage, so then you can have a higher impact. Recently, on 3rd of September in 2019, there was a Colombo Declaration in Sri Lanka on the 30th anniversary of the adaptation of the Convention on the Rights of the Children. And there, the parliamentarians of the SAARC countries, they have made very clear, this occasion also urges us to reflect on the fact that millions of children continue to suffer violations of their rights when they're denied adequate health care, nutrition, education, and protection from violence. Still, childhoods are cut short when children are subjected to discrimination, are forced to leave school, do hazardous adult work, get married, suffer online. All of these issues have been included. Online abuse and exploitation live through conflict and violence, or are locked up in adult prisons. So, given that situation, I mean, they have signed a declaration that taken from the Bangladesh perspective. It was principally agreed that there is a region that
you,
this region that the age of marriage for an individual. This is the last thing. The age of marriage for an individual should be minimum of 18 years, and that
Yes,
a general
yes.
law of the country. So this is Bangladesh has been instrumental and as a leader.
Government also taking
leader of
the
the region,
initiatives.
yes.
Yes. Well, Mr. Mahmudul, Kabir.
I think the important thing which we have seen is the evidences which we are creating from our work. That if media can, we are working for 9,000 early married girls. So if the media can really through all the channels, they can disseminate this information, the negative, the consequences of child marriage
Well,
throughout the country. I mean, that will have a tremendous impact on this on how the early married girls can improve their situation.
well, Ambassador Verweij.
I think you have a tremendous convening power, and you have the instrument to put the issues on the agenda. So I would say give women, give girls a face in the media, and let them contribute and convey the message that women are supporting the economy and that women are supporting their families in whatever way. So give them a face. That is my message.
Thank you.
Thank you.
দর্শক, এই কথা অনস্বীকার্য। বাংলাদেশের উন্নয়নে বাল্যবিয়ে এখনো একটি বড় বাধা বলা হয়ে থাকে। কিশোরীদের একটি বড় অংশই যদি বাল্যবিবাহ ও অপ্রাপ্ত বয়সে মাতৃত্বের কারণে হারিয়ে যায়, তাহলে দেশের উন্নয়ন বাধাগ্রস্ত হবে এবং রূপকল্প 2030 অর্জনের বিষয়টিও কঠিন হয়ে পড়বে। তবে বাল্যবিবাহের অভিশাপ বন্ধে মিডিয়া যে গুরুত্বপূর্ণ ভূমিকা রয়েছে সে কথা উঠে এসেছে বহুবার। আজকের অতিথিদের আলোচনার সূত্র ধরে আমরা বলতে চাই, মেয়ে শিশুদের স্কুলে ঝরে পড়া রোধে কিংবা সচেতনতা তৈরিতে সরকারি ও বেসরকারি সহ সংশ্লিষ্ট প্রতিষ্ঠানগুলো আরও সক্রিয় ভূমিকা পালন করবে, সেই প্রত্যাশায় শেষ করছে আজকের অনুষ্ঠান। এতক্ষণ সঙ্গে থাকার জন্য ধন্যবাদ সবাইকে।